The glass shattered against the marble floor. Evan Hale didn't flinch. He barely noticed the sound as his son's small body crumpled at his feet, knees hitting the cold tile, fingers clawing at Evan's tailored trousers. "No, no, don't go," Noah screamed, his voice cracking as tears soaked his cheeks. The office froze. "Noah," he said sharply. "Get up." The boy shook his head violently, clutching tighter. "Please, don't send her away." Silence pressed down like a weight. Evan's jaw tightened. "We'll talk about this at home." "No," Noah sobbed. "You always say that. And then people leave." Something flickered across Evan's face, too fast to name. He bent, prying Noah's fingers loose with controlled precision. "Enough." Noah screamed as security gently pulled him back. Before we continue, please subscribe and share, and tell us where you are watching from. Evan straightened, smoothing his suit as if nothing had happened. "Meeting adjourned," he said coldly. But the damage was done. By the time Evan reached the penthouse that night, the house felt wrong. Too loud. Too empty. The lights were on in the kitchen. Amina stood at the counter, sleeves rolled up, stirring a pot with slow, steady movements. Her posture was calm, but her eyes lifted the moment Evan entered, sharp and alert. "He cried himself to sleep," she said. Evan loosened his tie. "He embarrassed me." She turned fully now. "He's 5. He disrupted a board meeting. He begged you not to send me away," she shot back. Evan's voice hardened. "You were hired to take care of him, not attach yourself." Amina set the spoon down carefully. "Children attach to people who stay." "That's the problem," Evan said. "You're staying too much." Her lips pressed together. "You're angry because he chose comfort over control." Evan laughed once, humorless. "You think you know me?" "I know your son," she replied. "And he's afraid." Evan turned away. "This arrangement ends when the year is over." Amina's chest tightened. "You said nothing about ending it early." "I didn't say it would continue." Silence stretched. Then she said quietly, "You don't like that he needs me." Evan stopped. "That's not true. You don't like that he needs someone who isn't you." His voice dropped. "Watch yourself." She stepped closer instead of backing down. "I won't disappear to make you comfortable." Evan turned, eyes blazing. "You're an employee." "And he's a child," she said. "Not a possession." The words landed hard. Evan pointed toward the hallway. "Go check on him." Amina didn't move. "You don't get to order me when it comes to his heart," she said softly. For a moment, Evan looked like he might explode. Then he exhaled slowly. "Fine," he said. "We'll clarify the rules." That night, Evan lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Noah's scream replayed in his head. The next morning, Evan did something he hadn't done in years. He watched. From the doorway, he observed as Amina knelt to Noah's level, tying his shoes. "You're still here?" Noah asked, eyes wide. "I'm here," Amina said gently. "For how long?" She hesitated, then smiled. "Today." Noah hugged her without warning. Evan felt something twist in his chest. Later that day, Evan summoned Amina to his office. He didn't offer her a seat. "1 year," he said. "That's the contract." She folded her hands calmly. "I remember. You don't discipline him without my approval." She nodded. "I won't harm him." "That's not what I said." "You don't spend nights in his room." Her eyes flicked up. "When he's afraid? He'll learn." She swallowed. "Fear doesn't teach lessons. It creates scars." Evan's voice sharpened. "You're not his mother." Amina stiffened. "I know," she said quietly. "But I won't be cruel just to remind him." Evan leaned forward. "This is not a family. This is a job." She met his gaze. "Then stop asking me to love him like one." The words hung between them. Evan stood abruptly. "You're paid well." "Not for this," she said. "I do this because I choose to." That unsettled him more than defiance. That evening, Evan overheard Noah talking to his toys. "She won't leave," Noah whispered. "She promised." Evan's hand tightened on the doorframe. Later, Evan confronted her again. "You made him promises." "I made him feel safe," Amina replied. "That's not your right." "It should be," she said. Every child deserves it. Evan looked away. Days passed. The house changed. Noah laughed more, ate more, slept through the night. And Evan hated how much of that wasn't because of him. One evening, Evan came home early. He found Noah asleep on the couch, his head resting on Amina's lap. Her fingers moved slowly through his hair. She didn't notice Evan at first. When she did, she froze. "I'll move him," she whispered. "No," Evan said, surprising them both. She stayed still. Evan watched his son sleep peacefully for the first time in years. And suddenly, the rule he'd built his life on cracked. People didn't leave because they stayed too long. They left because they were never allowed to stay at all. This story is already pulling you in. Like the video and subscribe. The next morning, Evan woke to noise. Not alarms. Not phones. Laughter. It drifted down the hallway, light and unfamiliar, and for a moment he lay still, trying to remember the last time the penthouse had sounded like that. He followed it to the kitchen. Noah stood on a chair, stirring pancake batter far too enthusiastically while Amina hovered close, one hand ready to steady him. "Slowly," she warned, smiling. "Or we'll repaint the ceiling." Noah giggled. "Daddy hates messes." Evan cleared his throat. Both of them turned. Noah's smile faltered. "Did I do something wrong?" Evan opened his mouth, then stopped. "No," he said. "You didn't." Amina studied him, cautious. "Good morning." He nodded. "You didn't ask permission." "To cook," she asked gently. "To involve him." "He asked," she replied. "I said yes." Evan hesitated. Then, against instinct, he said, "Carry on." Noah's eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes," Evan said. "But clean up after." Noah beamed. Evan poured coffee and leaned against the counter, watching. The scene felt intrusive, like he'd stepped into something not meant for him. Later that day, Evan's phone rang nonstop. The board. His father. PR. He ignored all of it. At noon, a black car pulled up outside the penthouse. A woman stepped out, elegant, sharp, familiar. Amina stiffened when she saw her through the window. "Who's that?" "My ex-fiancé," Evan said flatly. The woman entered without waiting to be invited. "Evan," she said coolly. "We need to talk." She noticed Amina immediately. "And you must be the nanny." Amina straightened. "Yes." The woman's smile was thin. "I'm Claire." Noah peeked from behind Amina's leg. "She's nice," he announced. Claire's eyes flicked down. "I'm sure." Evan sighed. "Why are you here?" Claire crossed her arms. "Because your son had a meltdown in a boardroom, and now the internet thinks you're unstable." Amina bristled. He was scared. Claire ignored her. "This arrangement isn't working." Evan's voice dropped. "You don't get a say." Claire laughed softly. "You're making emotional decisions." Amina spoke before Evan could stop her. "He's making human ones." Claire's gaze sharpened. "This doesn't concern you." "It concerns the child," Amina replied evenly. Evan watched the exchange, something dark and protective rising in him. "That's enough," he said. "Claire, leave." She stared at him. "You're choosing a nanny over your future." Evan didn't blink. "I'm choosing my son." Claire left without another word. The door shut. Silence. Amina exhaled shakily. "I'm sorry." "You shouldn't be," Evan said. She was out of line. That night, Noah had another nightmare. Evan reached his room first this time. Noah sat up, shaking. "She's gone," he sobbed. "Everyone goes." Evan sat beside him, awkward. "She's not gone." "Promise?" Evan hesitated. Then Amina appeared in the doorway. "I'm here," she said softly. Noah reached for her instantly. Evan watched the choice being made again. And this time, instead of anger, he felt relief. Days blurred into weeks. Evan started coming home earlier. Started asking questions. How was school? What did he eat? Amina answered honestly. One evening, Evan admitted quietly, "I don't know how to do this." She looked at him. No one does it first. Their eyes met. Something shifted. One night, Evan found Amina on the balcony, staring at the city. "You could leave," he said. "Any time." She shook her head. "Not yet." Why? Because he needs me, she replied. And because you do too. He swallowed. I don't want to lose him. You won't, she said. Not if you stay. Evan nodded slowly. Inside, Noah slept peacefully. And Evan realized the year was already slipping away. Evan learned the truth the hard way. It arrived as a phone call in the middle of the afternoon, sharp and unforgiving. Your son collapsed at school. The words punched the air from his lungs. What? Evan snapped, already grabbing his jacket. Why wasn't I? He's stable, the voice said quickly. But you need to come now. Evan didn't remember the drive. He barely remembered walking into the hospital. What he remembered was Amina. She was in the hallway, pacing, hands clenched together so tightly her knuckles were white. When she saw him, she stopped. Her eyes were red. You knew? Evan demanded, panic edging his voice. You knew he was sick? He's been tired, she said, voice shaking. I told you. I asked you to slow down. Evan ran a hand through his hair. What happened? He fainted during recess, she said. They said exhaustion. Stress. The word echoed. Stress. From what? From who? They sat in silence until the doctor came out. He'll be fine, the doctor said. But this can't continue. He needs consistency. Emotional safety. The doctor's gaze lingered on Evan. Children feel instability deeply, he added. Even when adults think they're hiding it. Afterward, Evan stood alone in the hallway, staring at the floor. Amina approached him slowly. This isn't about you being busy, she said gently. It's about him being afraid. Evan swallowed. Afraid of what? Of losing people, she replied. Because he already has. Evan nodded once. That night, Evan stayed by Noah's bed. Amina sat on the chair nearby, silent. Noah stirred. Daddy? I'm here, Evan said quickly. Noah reached for Amina too, his small hand stretching out. Evan watched, then nodded to her. She moved closer. Noah smiled weakly. Don't go. I won't, Amina whispered. Evan felt something tighten in his chest. He wanted to promise the same thing. The next day, Evan canceled everything. The board called. He ignored them. His father showed up at the penthouse unannounced. This ends now, the older man said coldly. The nanny goes. No, Evan replied. You're risking everything. I already did, Evan said. His father's eyes narrowed. You're emotionally compromised. Evan looked toward the living room, where Noah laughed softly at something Amina said. Yes, Evan said. I am. That night, Amina found Evan in the kitchen, staring at nothing. You can fire me, she said quietly. I won't fight it. Evan looked at her. Do you want to leave? She hesitated. Not like this. Then stay, he said. Not as a contract. As a choice. Her breath caught. That's dangerous. I know. Silence. She whispered, I'm afraid too. Of what? Of loving him, she said. And losing him. Evan nodded. Me too. Their eyes held. Then Noah called from the hallway, Are you fighting? Amina smiled softly. No, sweetheart. We're learning, Evan added. Weeks passed. Rumors spread. The board issued ultimatums. Evan ignored them all. One evening, Amina handed Evan an envelope. What's this? He asked. My resignation, she said. His chest dropped. Why? The year ends soon, she replied. And you need to be ready. For what? For him, she said. Without me. Evan shook his head. I don't want that. You don't get to keep people by needing them, she said gently. You keep them by letting them choose. That night, Evan sat with Noah. Would you be okay if Amina had to leave someday? He asked carefully. Noah's eyes filled with tears. No. Evan pulled him close. Neither would I. Noah sniffed. Then don't make her go. Evan closed his eyes. He knew the next choice would cost him everything. If this story is hitting your heart, like the video and subscribe. The next part brings the breaking point. Evan made the call at dawn. He stood by the window, phone pressed to his ear, watching the city wake up below him like nothing was wrong. I'm stepping down, he said. The silence on the other end was sharp. You're joking, his father replied. I'm not. You're throwing away decades, the man snapped. For a nanny? For my son, Evan said evenly. And for the kind of life I refuse to lose again. You'll regret this. Evan ended the call. When he turned around, Amina was standing in the doorway. How much did it cost you? She asked quietly. Everything, he answered. Her breath caught. You shouldn't have done that. I should have done it sooner. She stepped closer. You don't make decisions like this for people. I didn't, Evan said. I made it for myself. She searched his face, looking for manipulation. She found none. That scared her more than anything else. Later that day, the news broke. Billionaire CEO resigns amid family controversy. The phone rang nonstop. Evan ignored it. Noah sat on the floor building a tower. Daddy, he said, are you mad at Amina? Evan knelt beside him. No. Are you mad at me? Evan's throat tightened. Never. That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the resignation letter she hadn't torn up yet. Evan knocked softly. Can we talk? She nodded. You didn't have to sacrifice your life, she said. I didn't, he replied. I chose a better one. She shook her head. You don't understand. If I stay now, it won't be because of love. It'll be because of guilt. Evan exhaled. Then don't stay. Her eyes widened. Stay only if you want to, he continued. Not for him. Not for me. Silence stretched between them. I don't know how to separate those things, she whispered. That's okay, Evan said. Neither do I. The next morning, Amina packed. Not everything. Just enough. Noah watched from the doorway, eyes wide. You're leaving, he said flatly. Amina knelt. Not forever. When? She hesitated. Soon. Noah turned to Evan. You said you wouldn't let people leave. Evan swallowed. I said I'd stay. Noah ran to his room and slammed the door. Amina stood slowly, tears spilling. I can't do this, she whispered. Evan didn't stop her. That was the hardest part. The house felt hollow without her. Noah stopped eating. Stopped laughing. Evan tried. He cooked badly. Read awkwardly. Sat beside Noah at night. But Noah didn't reach back. One evening, Evan found Noah clutching the stuffed animal Amina had given him. She didn't choose us, Noah whispered. Evan's chest cracked open. No, Evan said hoarsely. She chose herself. And that matters too. Noah didn't answer. Weeks passed. Amina worked elsewhere. But every night, she thought of the penthouse. Of Noah's laugh. Of Evan standing helplessly in the doorway, choosing restraint over possession. One rainy evening, there was a knock at her door. She opened it. Evan stood there, soaked. I'm not here to ask you back, he said quickly. Noah won't sleep. He keeps asking if you're happy. Her eyes filled. I am, she whispered. Then that's enough, Evan said. I just wanted to tell you, thank you. She grabbed his arm before he could leave. You're doing this wrong, she said through tears. Then tell me how, he replied. By admitting you love him enough to risk losing him, she said. Evan nodded. I do. She stepped back. And admitting you love me enough to let me go. His voice broke. I do. Silence. Rain poured. Then she whispered, come in. Evan stepped into the apartment, dripping wet, and immediately noticed how quiet it was compared to the penthouse. Noah's laugh wasn't here. Amina's calm energy wasn't here. For the first time in weeks, he felt the emptiness he had been avoiding. I didn't come to argue, he said quietly. Amina looked at him, wary. Then why? Because Noah asked, he said, voice breaking. And because I couldn't sleep knowing you're happy but he misses you. Her chest tightened. He's resilient. Not without you, Evan replied. I've realized that. Amina studied him, searching for manipulation, for a trap. She found only honesty. Evan, this isn't about me staying or leaving, she said. It's about him having stability. And I can't guarantee that if you keep interfering. I don't want to interfere, he said. I want to be part of it. Part of him. She shook her head. It's not that simple. Nothing worth it ever is, Evan countered. Noah appeared in the doorway, clutching the stuffed animal from his nanny. Daddy, he asked softly. Is she staying? Amina knelt to his level. I'm visiting tonight, she said gently. Just for dinner. Noah's face lit up. Evan knelt beside them. Dinner, he asked. Yes, Amina said. But only if everyone behaves. Noah grinned. I promise. Evan noticed something shift inside him, the warmth, the hope he hadn't felt in months. Dinner was quiet at first. Amina served with practiced care. Noah chattered incessantly, showing off the drawings he'd made, the small victories from school, the silly jokes he had perfected. Evan laughed despite himself. After the plates were cleared, Noah ran to his room, then returned with a photo frame. This is for you, he said, handing it to Amina. She looked at it, a picture of her and Noah baking pancakes, smiling and covered in flour. She swallowed hard. I don't deserve this, she whispered. You do, Evan said softly. Because you stayed when he needed you. Because you showed him what love looks like. Amina's eyes met his. She saw the rawness there, the vulnerability he rarely showed. Something in her chest ached. Why are you here, Evan? She asked, voice low. Because I can't let him or you go again, he said. I've been a coward my whole life, controlling everything. But I can't control hearts. I can't control love. I can only choose it. Amina's breath caught. And what if I refuse to choose you? Then I'll respect it, he said. But I have to be honest. I can't go back to being a man who hides behind rules while my family suffers. She stepped closer. Evan, this is dangerous. I know, he said. But I'm done being safe. Noah climbed onto Amina's lap. Stay, he said softly. Please. Her chest tightened. She looked at Evan. He nodded. If it's right, it'll happen naturally, he said. Hours passed in quiet conversation, laughter, and moments of silence. Eventually, Amina rose. I should go, she said. You have your life to figure out. I don't need my life if it doesn't include him, Evan said, gesturing to Noah. She hesitated, then knelt beside them. Then we'll figure it out, she said softly. Together. Noah cheered. Evan laughed. For the first time, the three of them felt like a family, not a contract, not a transaction, but real. That night, as Evan walked her to the door, he said quietly, I've broken every rule I had. She smiled. And I've broken a few too. He took her hand. We're learning together. Slowly, she whispered. Step by step, he replied. She lingered for a moment, then leaned in, pressing a brief, gentle kiss to his cheek. Don't let fear stop you. He watched her go. The door clicked shut, but the warmth lingered. Evan sank into the couch beside Noah, pulling him close. We're okay now, he whispered. She'll be back. Noah hugged him tightly. I know. And for the first time in months, Evan felt peace, not from control, wealth, or power, but from love, trust, and connection. If this story is moving you, like the video and subscribe. Weeks passed. Life settled into a rhythm that was neither perfect nor predictable, but it was theirs. Noah laughed freely again, climbing onto Evan's lap as they read a story before bed. Amina sat nearby, a soft smile on her face as she watched them, the warmth in her eyes unmistakable. The tension that had once filled the penthouse had been replaced by trust, understanding, and the slow, steady pulse of a family forming on its own terms. One evening, Evan found Amina on the balcony, looking out over the city. The skyline glimmered in the sunset, but it was nothing compared to the quiet calm that had settled over them. You're here, he said softly. She turned, eyes meeting his. I am. I stayed because it's right, not because of guilt or obligation. Evan nodded. I've learned a lot, he admitted. About control, about fear, about love. And, she prompted, I've learned that some things can't be controlled. You, me, him, real love. You can only choose it. His gaze softened. I choose it. Amina's lips trembled. And I choose it too, she whispered. She reached out and took his hand, holding it like it was the most important thing in the world. Noah peeked out from the doorway, clutching his favorite toy. Are you two done talking? He asked, half serious, half teasing. Almost, Amina said with a smile. Just making sure we're all on the same page. Noah grinned. Good. Because I want pancakes tomorrow. Evan chuckled. Then pancakes it is. The next morning, the three of them sat at the breakfast table, a perfect chaos of syrup spills, laughter, and playful arguments. For the first time, Evan realized he didn't want to protect his son from the world. He wanted to protect the love that had entered their lives unexpectedly, the kind of love money could never buy. Later that week, Evan and Amina sat down together while Noah played nearby. I don't need grand gestures, he said. I just need honesty, respect, you both. She reached out, covering his hand with hers. That's all we need. Evan swallowed. I also need to say something I should have said long ago. She raised her eyebrows. I love you, he said, voice firm but tender. Not out of obligation, not out of debt or control. I love you because I can't imagine this life without you. Tears glistened in her eyes. I love you too, she said. I did from the moment I realized you could feel as much as you could rule. Noah climbed onto their laps, pulling them into a tight hug. I love you both, he said. Don't ever leave. Evan's chest tightened. We won't, he promised. The days that followed were quieter, gentler. Work still existed, obligations still lingered, but none of that mattered as much as the life they had begun to build together. Noah thrived, laughter spilling freely through the penthouse. Amina's presence grounded both father and son. And Evan? He discovered a new kind of power, not the kind measured in wealth or influence, but in love, patience, and connection. One rainy afternoon, the trio sat on the couch watching the city blur through the rain-streaked windows. Evan held Noah close, while Amina rested her head against his shoulder. Words weren't necessary. They were simply together, a unit forged in struggle, kindness, and mutual respect. Evan thought back to the first day he had offered Amina the one-year contract, the coldness in his words, the distance he had tried to maintain. And now, seeing her smile, hearing Noah's laughter, feeling the warmth of their hands together, he realized the truth. Some things can't be earned with wealth, contracts, or power. They are chosen, nurtured, and fought for. And when you find them, you hold on not with control, but with care. That night, as Noah slept soundly, Evan and Amina sat quietly in the living room. The city lights flickered outside, but inside, everything was calm. Evan reached for Amina's hand. We've broken the rules, he said softly. And that's why this works, she replied. He smiled. Yes, because we chose to love anyway. She leaned in, pressing her forehead to his. Always. And for the first time, Evan didn't feel the weight of his empire, his control, or his loneliness. All he felt was love. Real, imperfect, and completely theirs. Noah stirred in his sleep, murmuring something about pancakes and bedtime stories. Evan and Amina laughed softly, the sound a promise of a future filled with warmth, connection, and the kind of happiness no money could ever buy. The world outside could wait. For now, they had each other, and that was enough. If this story touched your heart, like the video and subscribe for more emotional billionaire romance stories filled with love, kindness, and life-changing choices. Sparkling heart, comment below your favorite moment and share the love.